the questions just seem very easy because I've like, because of the practice material that I got. I think I got one question that was exactly the same. Like the options were different, but the stem was the same. And I remembered that. So, it was that. Like I knew while doing it, I was talking to myself and I was like, I know the flaw here. Like I know how this answer is gonna lure me, but I'm not gonna get lured. So I was able to talk myself that much, and it was genuinely easy. And the thing is, like I sweat from my hands, and they gave me like a sheet or like some sheets which were like plastic.
Right.
So whatever I was writing, it was getting rubbed.
Oh, yeah.
It took me like 10 minutes to get it figured out how I can write with that not happening. But because quant was my first section and that's where you really require the thing, right? So that kind of screwed up the thing. I mean, now I can see so many flaws in the world, especially with CR and flaws. Like the way statistics are reported to us, the way there are conversations about like politics, for instance, be it here or be it in India. Like I think it's not just RC, it's like know the world as well.
Right.
But I can like it has literally opened my eyes.
Right.
I was so naive when I started this that I used to think that I know everything. That was like obviously the stupidest thing.
Thank you so much for joining me, Sarthak. And first of all, congratulations on the 695 GMAT score. You
Thank
almost
you.
immediately kind of sent a message to Priyancha as well as soon as you received your official score report.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? I mean, definitely the message sounds you were very, very happy about the score. You wanted to be a part of the community as well. That's what is
Yeah.
very, very kind of you. Please tell me, how do you feel looking at the score? 81 percentile in quant, 98th percentile in verbal, and data insight 99th percentile.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I was just diligently just following what like Sandeep sir has like put it in the plan, and it took me a little extra while. Like when I heard these testimonials, I thought I can do it in like 3-4 months, but like I've been living alone, and I had like two teeth removals in the middle of this, and like a lot of different things. So my things were getting pushed, but uh, I mean, honestly, when I started this, I was aiming for like a 700 score, like with the old format that 90 percentile is good.
90 percentile, yes.
Yeah, but like with you guys, the way that like how they say that my goal is bigger for you than what you ever thought. So I was able to feel that, and definitely very happy with the score. In terms of the breakdown, I know I can do. I should have done a better quant because like I gave my two free mocks and I always got like either 90, like 95 plus, or in one I got 100 in that. So I know I screwed up there, and like while doing it, I knew I'm screwing it up, but it's okay.
We'll
Uh,
speak about the exam section and probably, what went down and what went right and wrong during the exam
right.
in a while. Could you just, Sathak, tell me about a brief about yourself, what you're currently doing, how did this entire idea of MBA and, finding top 1% and Sandeep Gupta come to play?
So, like I'm working as a civil engineer right now in Vancouver. Um, I came to Canada like 7 years ago, did my engineering here. Um, and then since so my engineering was like for 5 years because 16 months was co-op in it, which is like the internship. And then after that, it was 2 years. I've been working with a really big construction firm, but like one of the biggest here. I'm sure like if you're like, as you can see, Stanford, so you might know it, Kiewit. Uh,
Right.
like I've been with that, but honestly the thing is I don't really like Canada too much, and I wanted to move to the US, preferably like the East Coast.
Right.
And the all of this started because I kind of felt that like the average salary or whatever for Canada they talk about, like the top, I'm already there and I don't feel like that's enough for me. uh like
It's
I
not going to go beyond that point.
Yeah,
Maybe it's, yeah.
because the thing is like here, even if you do exceptionally well, like the salary for some reason stays very similar.
Right.
Like it's not like the capitalistic US thing where it can vary a lot. And with like Sandeep sir, even like Know the World, where he talks about like the inequality thing, that the reality of the world is like it's unequal.
Right.
So it's a hard truth to swallow, but I didn't want to be here. And I mean, this was kind of happening before I joined the course as well, but I was not sure what I'm looking for.
Right.
And so that was the reason, and I was honestly not sure if I want to do it or not. Like even MBA, I was like, okay, I'll just try out the GMAT, see how I feel. But I think Know the World, I got so much clarity, and like it literally changed me, so I
Yeah.
was not motivated.
It changed the perspective at least. Now you are looking at the world's best and not just
Yeah,
you look at.
exactly. I mean, the thing is that for me, I know ROI doesn't make sense. Uh, I've already spent a lot of money, and my salary is not as bad, so I know if I take a 2-year break and do it, it doesn't make sense financially, but like at least at the start. But that's what you guys talk about, that look at the 30-year horizon, and you should achieve your maximum potential and stuff. Uh that's about me. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have further questions.
So this kind of gives a very competitive edge having an undergrad degree from Canada, and then now you have like a 90, 95, 98th percentile with the
Yeah,
score. Looking at any top B schools, and many of the B schools are in the East Coast as well.
yeah.
It should really stop you. I mean, this is just one of the avenues for you to start looking at application. Of course, we'll talk about what schools particularly you're looking at. Perhaps right after the school, did you get a chance to apply, or are you holding back?
Oh, I just did it for 5 schools, but honestly, I was not. I was in shock at that time, even though my like I did my average, like did my mock tests, and I knew that it was saying 97 and 98. So I kind of knew this was gonna happen, but still, like I just did whatever, like top five M5 schools I did, and I did Rotman, which is in obviously Canada. I just want to have that one, like the best of Canada, in case my things change and I want to stay here. But
Stay back in the
yeah,
country. Perfect, perfect. Now, looking into deeper into the GMAT preparation, when you started, you did mention earlier about a few minutes back, Quant could have changed. So, what does
yeah.
that mean? Were you when you started, what was the reality? Like, what were the challenging areas, and what was easy to look at when it came to GMAT sections?
Like with the preparation or with the actual exam?
No,
Uh,
so this is just before even you started your preparation. When you looked
oh,
at all
okay,
three
okay.
sections,
Yeah.
what did you think that acha, this is the doable, and then reality come and there is a like a
Yeah,
reality
yeah, yeah.
check.
I mean, the reality was, being a civilian. I was very arrogant. I thought maths is easy. Like, yeah, it's all good. This is like ratio, proportions, arithmetic, and I really thought that verbal is going to be the biggest challenge. Math is going to be the easiest, and data insights. I used to think it's going to be in the middle. And when I started like with Sandeep sir and with top 1%, I didn't even know like the breakdown. So my best friend from school, like back in India, he did the same course and he got a 740.
Okay.
So when I started this journey, uh, I just called him. I was like, who's the best? And he prepared for 2.5 years for this exam.
Okay.
So he and like he gave 4 attempts before coming to you guys, and his max score was 680, and then it got to a 740. So he just said, I'm gonna push you by 2 years and just give you the best person. You don't need to talk to me. Just do this. So uh, I mean, that's why I didn't even know about what is going to be in the GMAT. But just looking at it, I thought math is going to be easy, verbal is going to be like the hardest. But obviously, it doesn't look like that right now. And even data insights, uh, my expectation was it's not going to be that difficult, and it was kind of difficult for me with the time and stuff.
Right.
So yeah,
So, in terms of the material and the resources while you were preparing,
yeah,
of course, you might have, because then you did your engineering and you might have had a different format of studying, even if
yeah.
it's competitive or the curriculum. So, what stood out for you in terms of the resources, and what really helped you overcome any of the challenging section? We can talk about maybe section wise,
Yeah.
RCCR. You can take us through that.
Yeah, so for quant, I mean, the biggest challenge was that during my whole engineering, we had calculators that were allowed. So I was in this habit that if I have to multiply 12 and 10, I'll just do it on the calculator. Like, it was that bad. And I remember in first year when I came here, I used to not do it because from India, you're just very good at it, doing it again and again. And I have been a very studious, loving person for math, so I actually love math. I never realized, like, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I have got into a habit where I just use the calculator. So that was a big challenge. And then the second big thing in quant was like timing. So it was taking me a while to remember and recall stuff. Even though most of it was easy, I kind of figured that I need to practice a lot. It wasn't a lot about the basics or whatever. Like, I knew those things. It's just I needed to practice a lot to remove this habit of the calculator, and uh, because those are the margins that count. So
Habits, you could say. You
yeah,
have to get back the habits back
yeah,
into
yeah,
then you let the memory kind of do the trick after
yeah, yeah,
practice. Yes.
for sure. For RC, I mean, it was challenging, but with Octave, I think when I first applied it in my first session, I still remember I got like a 85 without time, of course. So uh, that's like a very big confidence boost that okay, this works. Whatever octave is, you just know about it a little bit. And then it took me a while to get it consistent 85. And then so what I did was I did my first mock test without like time preparation. So I did all the sections and did time, and I got like a 60 percentile.
Right.
And that is when the reality hit me that okay, I need to do this with time.
Right.
And then it took like 2 to 3 months extra so to do it with time. But the good thing was that there was a lot of prep material for RC. um, I finished all the 700 to 800. I did like at least 20 to 25 of LSAT. So I did like a lot of practice. And I think LSAT passages are the best because they're so long that even when I was doing the exam, I knew it's easy. Like I got one wrong in RC, and I knew which one I have to get wrong because I was confused. But like other than that, it was genuinely easy. And I think it's just because Octave gets ingrained in you by doing it again and again. And like after 40 or 50 passages, I kind of had to remind myself that hey, use Octave, just OCT,
OCT.
VE. I keep on saying that, but even just before the exam the day, I was just saying to my family, just remind me V and E. Just I need to do that.
You
Uh,
kind of support.
even though I know it, but so it was really good in terms of the prep material. And like I was not confident about my English, and now with this technique it is definitely helps.
Do you see yourself applying that in the real world also, like not just Octave, but
Oh yes,
at least the
100%.
idea of rationally thinking that, okay, this may be right, even at work or maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
conversations.
I mean, now I can see so many flaws in the world, especially with CR and flaws. Like the way statistics are reported to us, the way there are conversations about like politics, for instance, be it here or be it in India. Like I think it's not just RC, it's like know the world as well.
Right,
But I can, like, it has literally opened my eyes.
right.
I was so naive when I started this that I used to think that I know everything. That was like obviously the stupidest thing. But the way that it has, obviously you can read anything and you can just, like the primary purpose thing goes in your back and you see okay, this is what's the main point of them saying this or doing this or writing this, then you can kind of focus on that. But yeah, definitely it has helped me a lot. Even this preparation till this point, I think this has been an amazing learning experience.
It's one of the things that it just opens up. I have to tell you what's going to happen. I'm sure you must also be applying when you look at a certain RC passage or any material. You would have given it a very unilateral or a linear
Yeah.
way of thinking, right? And Sandeep suddenly shatters your thought process and gives enough logical reasons saying that why it is wrong, why is it right,
Yeah.
and that hits you more and that kind of sticks with you. And this is what happens even when you go to a business school and
Okay.
you're in the M7, you will have to put that kind of a thought process. Like if you're
Okay.
going to think linear, no, then
Yeah.
why would you be paid like whatever you're going to be getting paid, right?
Yeah.
You'll have to really put a perspective that's going to blow your mind, right? And that's what every school looks at. All professors are looking at why this. When you look at a case study, why this? So to be honest, I think you just got like a prep to it's a pre-MBA bit,
Right, right,
which
right.
I think when you get your admit and when you're going to the school, you can come back and say, yes, this is
Yeah.
happening. Probably that's a great validation for Sandeep sir as well. So
Okay.
moving on to any challenges, especially when you're working and you
Right.
considered studying as well. Were there any breaks in your preparation? One of the things that you said that because you didn't time, it
Yeah.
pushed your preparation by a couple of weeks or months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what were such kind of challenges during the preparation that kind of pushed, and when you look back now, you wished you could have done something better?
I mean, the thing is that I I had like 2.5 hours to study after work, and when I started, I used to not do anything productive after work, like just just do nothing. So just to have that brain capacity to do, and this requires like 100% of your focus. Obviously, it requires more than work. So I think first thing was maybe I should have had that continued, and I never realized when I lost it. Like when you just start working, then you kind of have it and then you lose the not say the ability, but just the focus like after work, and you kind of get busy in those things. So that would be the main thing, that if I would have had that build up before this, that maybe reading more and stuff. And I used to try doing things and think that that's enough, but now my definition has changed.
Mm.
uh, and definitely time myself, I think what I did was did everything and then started timing myself. But I should have started in the middle,
Middle,
kind
yes.
of. So could have saved a little bit of time. But I mean, with the score, like I'm not really sad, because like if you can do it in one attempt, then it's obviously a boost to confidence. But yeah, timing could have been better. And then I think that I was like just a little bit too scared to do it. So maybe give the mock test a little bit before, like the official mocks, because they kind of give you the real uh score. Could have helped. Like if I would have done it like 1.5 months ago, probably it should have been better.
Right. So generally, the way to go about with timing is not you don't directly jump into the portal, but you do have an option to once your course is complete, then you start timing your practice.
Yeah,
Although it's not like clicking. I mean, some students do use their timer right in front of the system,
yeah,
right in front of their eyes ticking. But if
yeah,
you are very nervous about it, but you just put timer somewhere behind so you
yeah,
can
yeah,
like, and then you move on to the practice
yeah.
with the portal. I think that would have been an easier transition.
Yeah, yeah. I think I started Portal a little bit too late. Like I did all the prep from the PDFs, even
Yeah.
though I used to put a timer like behind on my. But yeah, you can't see the time. Um, Even though it was like the one with the sound, because that's what you guys recommend. But yeah, I did too much of PDFs before, and then I jumped only into Portal, and I should have done a mix of both. So yeah, because you know how Portal is, it's exactly like the real exam. Like even while giving the exam, it didn't feel like it's the official one.
Yeah.
So that was a very good thing.
There was a lot of thought that went through to make the portal the way it is so that there is, at least you're not very surprised on the exam day
Right,
on
right.
those UI, UX basis. But, there is no regrets at the end of it. You
Yeah,
do have the
yeah,
score. It's just that perhaps it would have been a little earlier than today, but it
yeah.
is still a first attempt and you got it right. That's amazing. Now, on the exam day, anything that seemed out of the box in terms of the questions or about the pacing, how did you go through the entire exam, starting from the order of the section?
Right. So I did Quant Verbal Data Insights, and I got into this habit because the when you do the portal, like that's the solution order. Like, that's it. I didn't put too much thought. I've been trying to do this know the world thing where don't think about this too much, just do it. So I did Quant, Verbal, and Data Insights. Also, I wanted like a break before Data Insights, because that was my most iffy section, that I need to have full focus like back at it. So my my plan was Quant, Verbal, Break, Data Insights. And that's what I did. Uh, in terms of the pacing, like Quant was good because I had 5 minutes remaining at the end to review. But the issue was that I did four mistakes and then fixed two of them. So I had two mistakes at the end, but they were like consecutive. Like when the report came out, I was able to see it. And the thing is, like I sweat from my hands, and they gave me like a sheet, or like some sheets which were like plastic.
Right.
So whatever I was writing, it was getting rubbed.
Oh, yeah.
It took me like 10 minutes to get it figured out how I can write with that not happening. But because quant was my first section, and that's where you really require the thing, right? So that kind of screwed up the thing. Like if I would have done it before, or like if I would have done some other section before, I'm sure it would have been better. But I mean, it's all good. Uh, I don't want to give it for just
I
one.
think we will have to start including this in our, strategy call and few things, because I think two or three students were a little taken aback by the material set that was
Right,
there.
right.
Sometimes it could be drastic, what is
Yeah,
given to me. Although UI everything is same, but what you're given
yeah.
to practice can be super taken
Exactly,
aback.
because
Yeah.
the thing is that this has been like ever since I've been growing up. My sweating comes from my hands, and they give you a sketch pen and a plastic sheet basically. So,
Lamination almost.
yeah, laminated sheet. So it's getting rubbed. Like so wherever I'm writing, like it's not writing because it's water, and then I'm cleaning it, and it was a mess.
Right. Yeah.
uh, Even though like I wore like a shirt over a t-shirt so I can take off the shirt if I'm feeling hot, and I did, but it was just. And like when you're starting, you're obviously a little bit more nervous, despite the practice, despite everything. So if I could have accounted for it, or like I would have known, I would have done something else. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the one thing that was surprising to me. But in terms of the computer and the UI, it was exactly the same.
So with all of these challenges, Quant is done. How did you progress with verbal and DI?
Like
Like a
honestly, with
moment
verbal,
breath and then we
yeah,
are
the thing is that quant was bad, and I knew it. Like I knew I couldn't solve one question. And obviously I got 100 percentile in my previous exam, like the mock
wow.
test. So I was obviously sad, but like I did verbal. Verbal, the first 10 questions were easy. I got one wrong, like the second question, but apart from that, everything was right. And I didn't even do any edits. Like, I knew it's right. So I think verbal seemed so easy that I gained confidence back. And I knew this in the back of my mind that if I do good in verbal, I do good in this exam. And doing so much practice, like I've actually practiced verbal a lot with RC, with CR. I finished the topic wise, and then 700 to 800, a lot of it. So like I knew that, but then the questions just seemed very easy because I've like, because of the practice material that I got. I think I got one question that was exactly the same,
Oh,
like with the options were different, but the stem was the same, and I remembered that. So it was that, like I knew while doing it, I was talking to myself and I was like, I know the flaw here, like I know how this answer is going to lure me, but I'm not going to get lured. So I
right.
was able to talk myself that much, and it was genuinely easy. And then so three passages were easy. The fourth one was like very tricky. It was about some US Supreme Court historical case,
Right.
like the classic one where history and law meets, and lengthy as well. I got one wrong in it, like an inference, but um that was like a bit challenging. And then I got the last two CR questions wrong. Uh I don't think it was because of time, because I still had 3 minutes left. But just, I mean, maybe just the fatigue of it, or maybe they were just difficult questions. But overall, verbal was actually like an easier section. Um and then obviously I took the break.
Break.
Yeah. Do you have questions in verbal
No,
or?
no, no, no. You took the break and you went for the TI section. So
Yeah.
did you take the full 12-minute, 10 minutes break?
No, I did just five. Just went to the washroom. I had to like just take deep breaths because I knew I've screwed up quant. I know the verbal went okay. Uh, Obviously at that time I don't know how much okay it is if it's. So I was like, I needed to remind myself that hey, you need to just. I know DI has been iffy. Like sometimes with Sandeep sir's practice, like 3 days before the exam, I got 50%. Like I did half the questions wrong. So I knew if I can peak at the right time, it should be good. And I was like, okay, this is it. I have to peak now. So it was a good kind of like a 5 minute little break where I was able to recollect my thoughts and do it. And then did two questions wrong in DI, the second question, and then it was just the second question was like I think the toughest question I've seen in the exam. I did it for like 2.5, 3 minutes, and then I just left it.
Right.
And that was one that went wrong. But I was like at 40-minute mark just with the first two questions. Like 40 minutes are remaining, so I knew that okay, this is it. And then I did one data sufficiency wrong, but apart from that, everything went well.
Right.
But while doing it, I knew okay, this is okay. Like I was able to solve everything, and it was just a lot of like the portal is so good. The same kind of questions come. There was this I used to do this question wrong where it's like the no positive correlation, negative correlation, because if there's like a couple of data sets in the thing wrong, I used to always mark it wrong, but that came in the exam. I knew what to do. I was smiling throughout. I was like, yeah, I know what it's asking me to do, and I didn't do it, and I also got that question right. So a lot of these things happened where I was just smiling. Yeah, I've seen this before. I
Right.
know how they're trying to trap me, but it was very good.
So one of the strangest thing, both you and me, and I mean, whenever we've had conversations, and so with other students and me with other students, when we look back, I don't think any kind of exam is spoken in such depth, because then
Right.
this because if you don't, it's not solving questions. It's not an exam of math and English where
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
you get it right. This is you solve it and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Why are people really spending so much time to crack it? Because this logically tweaks and
Yeah.
you're getting the answer right. More than that, getting the answers wrong first, like
Yeah.
making sure that the why the answers are wrong,
Yeah.
options are wrong before getting the right answer. That's more intriguing. And
Yeah.
all this reason why you're smiling when you see the question,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at the flaw of the question, kind of brings back all of that emotion,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's not an exam of math or English. It's
Yeah.
really that you know why you're choosing that answer. You're not, again, I'm sure it's not like you would have done 1 second where you would have again evaluated and
Yeah.
verified
Yeah.
elimination is still
Yeah. Yeah.
happening, that एक बार मैं check कर लूं कि 4 of those options are
Right. Right.
still
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Honestly, even in data insights, you can use like verify and eliminate just by looking at the options, because like at least three out of the five options you can just eliminate. Sometimes it's that, and that is when you smile at, yeah, this is definitely not it. This is definitely not it. This is it. So then you have two options left, and sometimes it's just plugging in the value and just making it life easier.
whatever you've shared is what makes GMAT a great deal, of
Right.
the exam. Why it is a great deal is because of all of these things. So, what if you have to summarize a couple of do's and don'ts in the preparation point of view for someone who's starting out? What would that be?
I think the first do is just uh like don't be scared and just do what you guys are telling them to do. Like rather than using your brain about if this is right or if this is effective for me, just there's a plan, just follow it. It's that simple. It's like you guys have given an amazing plan. I think the whole breakdown, do this first. Like the whole point is for the student not to use their brain, and I didn't use it as well, and I think that worked for me. So that would be my first advice. Just don't think, just do. And the second thing is that it might need a lot more practice than what it looks like. So just be patient, because I think maybe people who do it in 3 months or 2 months, they might have done it before. They may be aware, or maybe they're just more time. So I realize it now. It's not a intelligence exam. It's just about time and how much you can give to it. So the second thing is just be patient. Like yeah, it will happen. And I could see my ceiling break. Like how Sandeep sir says, it's like boiling the water, and you don't know at 100-degree when. I used to get frustrated as well that hey, it's not happening. Like I'm trying so much, and I don't know what day it was when it happened, but it just did, where I suddenly got the timing right and all of that. So it's yeah,
Absolutely
those
no explanation to it, because then
yeah,
it's just something very strange and very miraculous, I could say, where, that breakthrough happened. He draws that graph.
yeah,
Ki
yeah,
aapka har din it'll be like this, probably even like this, but
yeah,
then there is one point where it is suddenly
right,
going
right,
up
yeah,
the curve,
yeah,
right? So that happened with you as well. So glad this
yeah.
all things came through. Any other points that you'd like to add to the do's and the don't list?
um don'ts, thinking it could be that maybe don't, like obviously it's easy to say now, but try not to be scared of it and try with the timing a little bit before. It also depends on the person who's prepping for it, but maybe I would say it would be to use the portal more effectively and get to the portal quicker, I would say, so
Right.
that you start to get like portal is, it's so much content that you can never finish it. I still have so much to do in it. So I would say that just start using the portal quicker than, like with PDFs and stuff. Even at the start, the first thing that happens is you kind of getting used to, like I got used to the essay written like this and the questions here, and you can see the next three questions. So the portal, what it does is that you don't know the next question. You don't know if this will have a primary purpose question or not. So I think using the portal, like I don't know, faster or in a more efficient way, uh, could be one thing
Would
that you
would
could have done better.
Right, right. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights. Yeah, Sarthak. I mean, this has been, I had a great time talking to you.
Yeah,
You have been like, this is what I would like to, leave a parting thought. You joined Top 1% because one of our students, who is your friend, referred to you. I hope you
right,
spread the word as well for someone who is looking out, because I
right,
think Top 1%, we thrive on that. And, for last
right,
15
right,
years, Sandeep sir has been doing that. He's a teacher at heart. He would just make sure that you reach the maximum best. And he's
right,
extremely happy that you have proven, his whatever he set out to be like,
right,
especially validated him in whatever
right,
he taught
right,
you. And thank you so much for trusting Top 1% and trusting us through this journey. I hope you really crack that M7, M5. I will stay connected. I think it's soon going to happen. You're applying this year itself,
right,
and within probably December or February, let's hear the admit come through. Please let us know, let Priyansha know, keep me informed. We
right.
definitely be rooting and shouting out, giving you a shout out for that admit that you get through. Right. Really, fingers crossed, and all the very best.
Thank you so much, and just thank you to you guys. Obviously, if there is anyone who's looking for GMAT, I don't even have to think. I'll just share your number or Priyancha's number, like, and the impact that Know the World has had on me, and like my whole family has just been reading, and like you guys have changed my life more than just this 98th percentile. I knew I wanted this percentile so I can speak to someone and just tell that you guys don't know how much impact you've had. I'm sure you hear this a lot, but
We would
just thank
really
you
like
so
to know if you
much.
could write down to Sandeep,
Yeah.
how KTW has impacted. He would really love it. I mean,
Okay.
if it has any practical implication or personal implication, what is it? On a serious note, if you could just write it to him, because then, that's how we make things more better, and he'd add some more information. Of course, you'll
Okay.
be a part of the community. You know how the stronger the
Right.
community is. If we have people from all across the world as well. For
Right.
the last 10 years, 11 years, we've had people whenever there is this JSAs or some session like that, and if they're in India, or they make their way from
Right.
Dubai, Canada, everywhere to India, you'll
Yeah.
still be a part of this. You will, if you are connected with Sandeep, he will announce, and then you can always either
Right.
have a recording of it or come attend live whenever there is a
Right.
chance.
Even my bua, like she did this Know the World. Like she contacted through Priyansha, because I was just talking about Know the World all the time, and then she attended one of the sessions in June, and like I was like, my whole family, my extended family is getting into this, and like, obviously she's 25 years older than me, but it has been amazing, and I was just waiting till I get a score to talk to, like, to you guys, because I was like, I need to get a score before I do all of this.
All of these
Uh,
things.
so
Amazing. We'll keep connected as because of the short of time. We'll have to just wrap this
okay,
up.
yeah, sounds good.
But I would like to really, in fact, not just me, but Sandeep sir also would love to know what is the impact that KTW has brought you. We can probably connect on a separate note for this. It's
Sounds good.
for someone who do not know, it's definitely an intriguing subject, but it really
Right.
helps students for the GMAT and after GMAT as well, right?
Right.
Someone like, if you're saying it has impacted you, it would be best we can see exactly
Right.
how has it impacted in
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
conversation altogether.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Sarthak, for joining me today this evening. Thank you again. You have a
Thank
lovely
you.
day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.